What up, people? Coach V, New Breed Boxing. Breathing in the ring. One of the most overlooked subjects, and I'm going to go into it right now because before you even have your first sparring session, you've got to have this down in your training, in the gym, when you're doing your bag work, when you're shadow boxing, during the whole workout. I want you to work on these breathing drills. So everybody holds their breath in the beginning. I don't care who you are. Boxing is not like running. It's broken rhythm. In running, you can kind of like time your breath. You can dictate how many breaths a minute you do, and that's up to you. However you want to breathe, that's your choice. When you're boxing somebody else, obviously it's broken rhythm, so you're engaging and you're avoiding, you're doing offense and defense intermittently, and there's a lot going on, and whoever's the faster person is going to kind of set the pace. So if that's not you, you got to have your breathing in check so you don't get overwhelmed. And again, when you hold your breath, you gas out quick, you get an adrenaline dump, and you lose mental cognition. You can't even think straight. It's like you just start going into like an adrenal burner state where you're like detached from yourself, and that's not a good thing because you're basically gonna reach a point where you're standing still for too long, and you're just gonna be a sitting duck. So before the fight and in between rounds, you want to lower your heart rate as much as possible. You got to think like how a sniper breathes in a way before and after, before the fight and during the 1 minute breaks. Once you start losing mental cognition, when you're getting when you're holding your breath, you're getting real tired and stuff like that, you gotta reactivate your neocortex without getting all scientific about it. Reactivating your neocortex through these breathing drills, these deep diaphragmatic breathing drills. 4 seconds in, there's a few different ways to do it. These are my favorite two. Before the fight, again, and in between rounds, you breathe differently than you do during the fight. So 4 seconds in, that wasn't 4 seconds, but from the chest all the way down to the diaphragm, hold it for 4 seconds. Then you breathe everything out for 4 seconds. Everything. That last breath out is the most important part of it. Some people like to breathe out for 4 seconds. Some people do even 5 or 6 to make sure they get that extra breath out. Then you hold that exhale for 4 more seconds, and then you repeat the process. So breathe in 4, hold it 4, breathe out 4, 5, or 6, depending on whatever you like, and then hold that for 4. That will lower your heart rate. I mean, you might go from 150 beats a minute or whatever, depending on what kind of shape you're in, down to 80 beats a minute or 90 beats a minute. Even if you reduce your heart rate by 25%, that's going to reestablish that mental clarity that you need and give you that energy, a second wind you need to get back in the ring. Because some guys are breathing freaking 25 times a minute when they're in the ring, and that's just gonna, it's gonna over a certain period of time, that's just gonna overwhelm you. And again, the deterioration of your mental clarity is gonna start settling in, and that downward spiral is gonna, is gonna materialize, and you getting your ass kicked basically. So when you're in the ring, you don't want to get hit with your lungs full of air right in the solar plexus, because that shit hurts really bad. So you want to make sure that you're moving around with your core contracted. Like when you start getting in range, you don't gotta squeeze your core the entire time, but when you're starting to get in range, you want your lungs like kind of halfway empty, and you want to just exhale through your nose when you make contact with your punches. The same way like when you're jogging, your feet hit the ground, you time your breaths, your little short bursts of exhales with your foot, with your feet making contact with the ground. Because again, it's the same thing. If I tell you hold your breath and sprint for 25 seconds straight, maybe you'll be able to get 1 or 2 of those out without feeling the effects of the mental cloud that's going to come in there, and your physical body's just going to start getting overwhelmed, and you're just going to be exhausted in probably the first round. I've seen guys, man, that can run like freaking Olympic mile runs, Olympic times, like in a mile, but then they get in the ring because they don't know how to breathe with the broken rhythm, and they gas out. And it's not because they're not in shape, it's just because they don't understand how to time the breaths. So anyway, again, before the fight and during the 1 minute break, you want to lower your heart rate as much as possible, clear your mind. I tell guys, Act like you're not even in a fight right now. During that 1 minute break, at least the first 30 seconds of it, detach yourself from the moment. Act like you want to beach somewhere, man. Just clear your mind. And then the last 30 seconds of the 1 minute break, start thinking about what you got to do. That's just my personal approach. Anyway, hope you found this informative. If you did, like, subscribe, comment. Go check out my Instagram, coach.v_. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit that notification bell so we know you out there. Till the next time we out here. Out.